Today we are going to show you how to replace the belt and or deck on your Life Fitness 95T treadmill. Tools needed for this video will be a Phillips screwdriver, a 4mm Allen wrench, an 8mm Allen wrench, a 9/16 socket wrench or a 9/16 hand wrench, and a long flathead screwdriver. To begin, switch the power to the unit off. Unplug the unit from the wall. Remove the upright tube caps from the inside of the uprights by removing the Phillips screw and tilting the cap in at the top. To remove the shroud, remove all 4 Phillips head screws from the shroud. Then remove the screws at the top of the front panel and loosen the lower ones. This will leave enough play to remove the shroud as shown in the video. Now, using the Phillips screwdriver, remove the finger guards from the end of the treadmill on each side of the rear roller. You will need to twist the finger guards a bit to get them out from under the belt. Now use the 8mm Allen wrench to loosen the bolts on each side of the rear roller by 10 full turns. At this point, you can completely remove the bolts from the rear roller while keeping count of the turns needed on each end of the roller. Do not count the 10 turns in the previous step. Just count the turns needed in this step and be sure to write it down for future reference. Carefully remove the roller from the frame and set it aside. Back in the motor compartment, use a long screwdriver or flat piece of metal to pry up on the tension arm and remove the belt from the pulley. Caution, this is a pinch point. Using a 9/16 socket wrench or 9/16 hand wrench, remove the bolt from the front roller mount. Carefully remove the front roller from the frame and set it aside. Using a 4mm Allen wrench or a 4mm Allen socket, remove the 4 deck bolts from the deck. Once the 4 deck bolts have been removed, you can pull the deck and belt from the frame. Be careful not to let the deck move too far down toward the bottom of the frame, or you can damage your static tensile as we did during our removal. Numerous contaminants can build up on a treadmill's rollers and frame, causing lots of different issues, such as noise, corrosion, early damage, and premature wear to new parts, as well as the overall life of your equipment. When completing a belt and deck replacement, it is very important to clean the machine thoroughly. Since your machine is completely exposed at this point, you can clean the rollers and the frame much easier. For roller cleaning, we use a plastic putty knife so we can be sure not to damage the roller's surface. For most painted surfaces of the frame, you can simply use a vacuum to remove the buildup and then wipe off what's left with a Sportsmith equipment wipe. To begin the reassembly of the machine, you will need a new belt and a new deck surface. If your deck has a prepared surface on both sides and the bottom has not been used, you can flip the deck to the new surface. To get the full life of your belt, you always want a new deck surface installed with a new belt. If you do not have an unused surface on the deck, you will need to purchase one prior to the belt install, or you will grossly shorten the life of the belt. Before installing the deck and belt into the unit, inspect the Tennerman clips. They are the part the deck bolts screw into. They are inexpensive and easy to change during this process. Some, if not all, are generally necessary. If you choose not to replace stubborn ones now, you may have to change them later due to breakage. The process will take much longer than if done during this service. To simplify the install process, place the belt over the deck outside the unit, making sure to install the belt in the proper direction. If marked, use the arrows on the inside of the belt. If your belt does not have arrows, look at the seam along the side of the belt and install the belt so that the top layer of the overlap runs to the rear roller and the bottom layer runs to the front roller. Now place the belt and deck inside the treadmill as a unit. To install the deck bolts, screw the two bolts closer to the front roller in about halfway. Then use a long tool to line up the holes by the rear roller while placing your weight on the deck to start the bolt and install it about halfway. Then move to the other side and repeat the process to start the bolt. Now you can tighten all four of the bolts. Carefully place the front roller back under the belt and install it. Be sure to place the drive belt over the pulley before installing the roller. Install the pulley end of the roller into the hole in the frame and line up the bolt hole on the other end. Now use your socket or hand wrench to install the bolt and tighten it. Once the front roller is installed, use your long flathead screwdriver to reinstall the drive belt onto the pulleys. Be very careful as this is a pinch point. Install the rear roller under the belt and pull back on the roller while starting the bolts at each side. Remember to keep count of the number of turns. Install the bolts on each side back to the number of turns that you wrote down earlier. At this point, the belt may still be really loose, which is okay. We will fix that in a moment. Plug in and power on the unit. Start the belt at a very low speed and observe the tracking of the belt. If the belt does not move with the front roller, make small equal turns on each side of the roller until the belt begins to move. If the belt is moving quickly to either side of the frame, press the stop key to keep the belt from being damaged. If the belt is moving to the left side of the unit, you can tighten the bolt on the left side of the rear roller. If it's moving to the right side, you can tighten the bolt on the right side of the rear roller. Once the belt is tracking straight, move on to the next step. Now reinstall the finger guards using your Phillips screwdriver. With the unit stopped, step onto the treadmill. With your feet placed on the sides of the frame, start the belt and then begin to walk on it. If the belt stops on footfall or with your weight, make small equal turns such as quarter turns on each side of the rear roller and test again until no belt slippage is felt. Continue this process until no slippage is felt at running speed. Now reinstall the shroud and upright tube caps. Don't forget to log the repair in the maintenance section of the display electronics. press the stop key and then hold down the pause until the display comes on. It will display Service Menu. Use the up and down keys to scroll to Maintenance and press the Enter key. Now the display will read Maintenance Menu. Scroll to Replacing Belt and Deck and press the Enter button. At this point, your display will read Repair Logged and return to the Service Menu screen. You can press the Stop key to exit the Service Menu. Don't forget to check with Sportsmith to verify if your belt and deck combination needs to have any type of lubricant applied. This concludes the belt and deck replacement procedure.